7, Ragamuffin, Pantera Racing, Double Force, Wildcat, Enterprise, Mixed Emotion, Rolling Thunder, Hydra Bandit, Phantom, Pro Marine Racing, Waste Chaser, Gotcha, Tough Enough. The heat is on, rounding out the field. And right there on the inside, that's the heat is on. And I also see Pro Marine, Tough Enough, Breakout, heat is on in the middle, and we've got the entire Sea Fleet coming out. This should be a very interesting race this morning. And we've got the green flag, and we're off racing. Tough Enough going right out in the middle of the picture, that red boat. And that's Breakout on the inside. The heat is on. The yellow boat is in the middle of the picture. Tough Enough taking a quick early lead. And Wildcat is on the outside of Tough Enough. Tough Enough, Wildcat, heat is on, dropping back slightly. Tough Enough in the middle of the picture. On the far outside, that's Waste Chaser. And Wildcat. So it's Tough Enough, Wildcat, Waste Chaser. Here comes the rest of the field. That's Phantom. There's the heat is on. Rolling Thunder is right there, correction. And there's Pro Marine on the inside. Hydra Bandit on the outside with Pro Marine. There's Breakout Race Team, and there's the heat is on, running right behind Breakout. A very clean start. So many boats running in the Offshore Sea Division here today. Now let's highlight C24, the Breakout Race Team. This is a 32-foot Maverick powered by two 575 horsepower Chevy inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned and driven by Al Gerstenberger from Mount Clemens, Michigan. Bob Litch from St. Clair Shores, Michigan is on throttles. And navigating today, Chuck Herr from Mount Clemens, Michigan. So we've got the Michigan entry, the Breakout Race Team. This boat is sponsored by Herr Driveline, and as you can see on those scoops of those motors, they're the past National and World Cup champions. They'd like to extend a special thanks to Mike Bennett and the Shipwreck Marine and crew and friends for all their help and support. Earlier on, Jim Kimes had a chance to speak with the crew of the Breakout Race Team.
Al Gerstenberger, Breakout Race Team C24. This is your first race of the International Cup today. How do you think you're going to fare?
Good. The water looks like it's building. It didn't look too good yesterday, but this morning with the wind picking up, it looks like it's getting better hour by hour. We're looking forward to it. It's definitely Great Lakes water, and we're ready.
Okay, well, good luck today.
Thank you, Jim. Looking forward to it.
Bob Litch is doing a fine job on the throttles for the Breakout Race Team. Now we come up on the hard-charging C100, the heat is on Race Team. This is a 32-foot Yellow Manta powered by two 625 horsepower Tampa Bay inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by John Provenzano of Tampa, Florida, who is your throttle man, and Dave Hines from Tampa is your driver today. Hines and Provenzano making up the heat is on Race Team. MTM Contractors help sponsor the Heat is on Race Team. And they're definitely putting the heat on the rest of the field. This is going to be a very tight competition all day. The heat is on. Tough Enough, Gotcha, Waste Chaser, Pro Marine Racing, Phantom, Hydra Bandit, Rolling Thunder, Mixed Emotion, Enterprise. So many boats could take it, but the heat is on is certainly one of the crowd favorites here, and he's definitely going to be a boat to be reckoned with today. The Heat is on Race Team. And that's Gotcha going by on the outside. So Gotcha really going for it, and they go by. Provenzano's heat is on. Earlier today, Jim Kimes had a chance to speak with John Provenzano of the Heat is On race team.
The Heat is On race team. Geez, you've been real successful this year, John, and here you are in the first race of the International Cup. How do you feel about the water today? It's your water. I think it's rough out there.
Yeah, it's looking real good. You know, we run a deep V, and we need that rough water, and I think we're going to have it today. Let's hope we have some good luck.
Well, good luck, John. You'll do well.
Now we come up on Gotcha, C66. This is a 1982 32-foot Excalibur race hull powered by 3 Mercury 2.4 carbureted offshore outboard motors with 825 total horsepower. The hull is of Kevlar construction. Owner and throttles is Chris DeYoung of Glenwood, Illinois. Driver, Bill Anker Jr. of Linwood, Illinois. Your navigator today is Rick Daniels of Hendersonville, Tennessee, and your chief mechanic is Joe Zodick of Lansing, Illinois. So far throughout 1990, they had a first place in Monroe, Michigan, a third place in Bay City, Michigan. They finished all divisional races in the top 5. They're currently 5th place in points on the national point standing. Sponsors are Press Express Incorporated, Unical 76 Auto Truck Stops, Holiday Boat Sales, Thornton Screen Printing, Autometer Competition Instruments, Quality Welding, and All Guard Auto Alarms. They would like to extend a very special thanks to Paul Zodek, Holiday Boat Sales, Bill Nicholson, Press Express, and Gunnar Heim of Unical 76 for their help and assistance all year in making the 1990 campaign for Gotcha C66 a very successful endeavor. From Key West, Florida, it's Chris DeYoung's Gotcha, and he's looking very good right now, and he's going to be in a battle throughout the day with Heat is On, Tough Enough, Wave Chaser, Pro Marine Racing, Phantom, just to name a few in the C class. The Gotcha race team having a fine run so far in Key West, Florida. Now we come up on C35, the Phantom race team. This is a 24-foot skater powered by 2 276 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned and driven by Fred Kurland of Villanova, Pennsylvania, and on throttles it's George Peterson. That's right, the same George Peterson who for so many years throttled the freeze-frame East Coast Rider boat to so many successful victories over the years. He's got over 40 starts in that boat and a lot of experience, and George Peterson has joined forces with Kurland in forming the Phantom race team. And Kurland is doing a great job driving right now, and Peterson really has the experience in the throttles. Excellent team being formed right here. And here you see Phantom on the inside of the track with some of the competition on the far outside of the course. Phantom race team is running with Hydra Bandit, Rolling Thunder, Pro Marine Racing, and Waste Chaser right now. This Offshore Sea is off to a great start. So many boats are running, some so evenly matched right now that we've really got a great race going on in Offshore Sea. But right now, the story is Fred Kurland's C-35 Phantom race team having a fine run so far. We wish them all the best here today. And coming up on the outside is Rare Breed race team going by Peterson and Kurland in Phantom Racing. Rare Breed. Good stern shot of C-35. You get an idea right there of just how rough the seas are today. This morning's race is very rough, so you can imagine this afternoon is probably going to be just as rough. We're going to have a complete day of offshore powerboat racing at its best with the APBA. And there goes Gotcha, who we just saw earlier on, going by on the outside. Peterson doing an outstanding job on the throttles of the Phantom race team, as you can hear. Now we come up on C777 Harris going by the Phantom race team. This is Harris 777. It's a 29-foot Panther powered by two 440 horsepower Mercury inboard motors with Mercruiser drives. This boat is owned and driven by Mac R. Seelig of Abscon, New Jersey. Jason Seelig is on throttles, also from Abscon, and Jerry Seelig, obviously from Abscon, New Jersey, also is your navigator. The Seeligs making up the Harris 777 race team. This boat is sponsored by Harris 777. Harris really getting involved in sports and had an excellent partnership with the Seeligs. So the Seeligs and Harris making up Harris 777 race team. And as you can see just before, as Harris passed Phantom race team, it's become quite obvious that the deep V hull is certainly going to be the predominant hull of choice here today in these rough water conditions, as they were able to overtake the catamaran hull of Phantom just before. So with this in mind, the boats with the deep V hull are going to go all out and really trying to make a good impression today to have some good finishes as they go into Saturday's final run. From Key West, Florida, it's Harris 777. Now we come up on C29, Tough Enough. This is a 24-foot skater powered by two 250-horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned and throttled by Mark Weigel of Cambridge, Ontario, and driving is Dana Weigel, also from Cambridge, Ontario. The husband-wife team of the Weigels making up the Tough Enough race team. And in this 24-foot boat, you've got to be plenty tough enough, as you see right there in these rough seas. They're having a rough ride, but they seem to be running quite well right now. Rolling Thunder and Hydra Bandit are having some excellent laps right now. Rolling Thunder is really taking off, with Hydra Bandit also running with him. Phantom is also there, and we'll just have to see how things go. But Rolling Thunder is stretching a lead out, and Hydra Bandit has joined him. But now the rest of the pack, with the heat is on, Tough Enough, Gotcha, Waste Chaser, Pro Marine Racing, Phantom, they're all going at it. But coming all the way from Cambridge, Ontario to Key West, the change of weather has certainly done the Weigels a great bit of good. As you see right there, that's innovation on the outside going by. This Tough Enough race team is certainly going to prove their mettle as things progress during the course of the day. But they're really having a good run, and we certainly wish them all the best. From Key West, Florida, it's Mark and Dana Weigel's Tough Enough race team. Mark Weigel doing an outstanding job on the throttles as he propels Tough Enough around this race course. Now we come up on C101, Raja Muffin. This is a 24-foot skater powered by two Mercury outboard motors with 230 horsepower apiece. This boat is sponsored by Precision Silicones. They were second in high points in the POP-BRA 1990 season. This boat is owned by Rick Ford of California, who's doing the driving. Gil Bedion is your throttle man from Valinda, California. And West Covina, California is from where Rick Ford is from. And Andre Booker from West Covina, California is your navigator. Charles Clark is your chief mechanic. They've traveled 2,900 miles to be here. This team comes from the West Coast, where they feel the best of the best come from, and they feel they are the best of the best. As they would say, Yaman for Raja Muffin. That's mixed emotion on the outside of the Raja Muffin. And that's a protector going by in the middle, splitting the difference between Raja Muffin on the inside and Mixed Emotion on the outside. Earlier today, Jim Kimes had a chance to meet with our West Coast entry, Raja Muffin.
Team Raja Muffin, you're from California. We're glad to see you here in Key West. How do you feel you're going to fare today? It's a little rough out there.
Well, I know it's rough out there. We're going to do our best and do the best job we can and try and go out there and win the race.
Coming up on the outside, that's Hydra Bandit, Rolling Thunder on the far outside, and second to none. Hydra Bandit and Rolling Thunder are dominating the race course right now in Offshore Sea. It's safe to say that they are lapping some of your slower boats, so it just gives you an idea of the superiority and dominance that these two boats have in today's race. C9, Hydra Bandit race team. There's a 36-foot Hydra Tech racing hull powered by two 550 horsepower Bandit inboard racing motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Vincent Guarino of Staten Island, New York, who is doing your driving today, and on throttles from Brick, New Jersey, it's Greg Young. So the team of Young and Guarino making up the Hydra Bandit race team. They're basically running neck and neck with Rolling Thunder right now. So far, depending on how things go in the early stages, it's a two-boat race in Offshore Sea between Hydra Bandit and Rolling Thunder. We've really got a good race going between these two boats. However, there's a lot of racing to go and anything is possible. From Key West, Florida, it's Vincent Guarino's Hydra Bandit race team. The crew of Guarino and Young look very comfortable as you see them nestled in their racing cockpits in their race boat. Hydra Bandit is sponsored by CNF Electric. And we wish them all the best as this race moves on in their duel with Rolling Thunder. The Hydra Bandit race team. Now we come up on C23, the Rolling Thunder race team. There's a 33-foot Baja racing hull powered by two 520 horsepower Rogers inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Arnold's Yacht Basin in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Driving today is Rich D'Ambrosia of Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Rich D'Ancision from Toms River, New Jersey is on throttles, and David D'Ambrosia from Point Pleasant is your navigator. So D'Ambrosia's and the D'Ancision making up the Rolling Thunder race team, and they are rolling along right now. They're locked in a fierce battle with Hydra Bandit, who we just saw earlier on, and these guys are also blistering the race course in their Baja racing hull. They had a very successful 1990 campaign, and they just recently took a first place in St. Petersburg, Florida. Arnold D'Ambrosia doing a great job driving, and Rich D'Ancision, who's been around for so many years, is doing a magnificent job on the throttles. A real seasoned vet, joining forces with D'Ambrosia in forming the Rolling Thunder race team. They look very comfortable and confident tucked in their race boat right now. They're just going all out right now, staying with Hydra Bandit, and we'll just have to see how things go. But Rolling Thunder is certainly going to be there at the end if things prevail like they are right now. Rich Dancision and Arnold Ambrosia, along with David Ambrosia, in the Rolling Thunder race team. Earlier on, Jim Kimes had a chance to speak with Arnold Ambrosia of the Rolling Thunder race team.
Arnold D'Ambrosa from Rolling Thunder. This is your first race today in the Divisional National Championship here in Key West, Florida. How do you feel you're going to fare today?
I think we'll do real well. It's starting to get a little choppy, and that should be good for us bigger boats.
Well, good luck today.
Thank you.
Now we come up on C11, Pro Marine Racing. There's a 33-foot Maverick powered by two 580 horsepower Pro Marine inboard motors with Kama outdrives. This boat is owned by A. Dorenzo of Lodi, New Jersey. Driving today is Robert Hansen from Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Ralph Papke is on throttles from Bricktown, New Jersey. And Scott Hodem from Brick, New Jersey is your navigator. The Pro Marine Racing team. Ralph Papke owns Pro Marine Racing, and they do an outstanding job of rigging and maintaining boats throughout the year. Part of their stable includes Insanity, who they maintain, who's also had a very successful campaign. And what better way to prove their technology and ingenuity than is on the race course itself. And Papke, along with Hansen and Dorenzo, put everything they know into this race boat, and they bring it out here, and they do an outstanding job. They've had a very good 1990 campaign, and they're presently running in the lead pack of boats in Offshore Sea. And everyone at Freeze Frame would certainly like to thank Ralph Papke for everything he's done in helping out Freeze Frame Video throughout the 1990 campaign. We wish all our best to Ralph Papke, Robert Hansen, and Scott Hodem in the Pro Marine Racing team from Key West, Florida. There you see Papke with that right hand poised on that throttle. He's doing an outstanding job. Such experience and feel he has for the throttle. A true champion, Ralph Papke in the Pro Marine Racing team. good overhead shot of the crew of Pro Marine Racing right there. Now we come up on C10, the Wildcat race team. There's a 24-foot skater powered by two 270 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. They're having a rough ride right there, as you can see, but they seem to have gotten it together and gathered themselves and are moving on. This boat is owned by Dennis Bradley of Burlington, Ontario, Dennis is doing the throttling, and Robert Bradley is driving, also from Burlington, Ontario. This is the other Canadian boat entered here today. Tough Enough was the other, and now you have Wildcat coming down from Ontario. In 1990, they had a first at Lorraine and a fourth in Buffalo already this year. Earlier today, Jim Kimes had a chance to speak with Dennis Bradley of the Wildcat Racing Team.
We're here Thursday morning before the first divisional national race with Dennis and Rob Bradley. This is a father and son team, another father and son team. They're from Ontario, Canada. How do you feel you're going to do today?
Well, I'm told it's skater water out there, less than 2 feet, and I think it's going to be a good day for us. We've got a fast boat, and water like this really turns us on.
All right, and Rob, you throttle the boat, or do you drive?
I drive it.
You drive, so you let Dad take the throttles. Well, good luck today, fellas.
Thank you.
The Bradley's moving right along in Wildcat. Oh my! They stuffed that boat. They seem okay though from here. No one seems to have stopped, but they do seem okay. That boat was definitely submerged. It was a submarine for a moment, but they are okay. I see Robert Bradley moving around. Dennis Bradley still in his seat, but they do seem okay. They're talking to one another, getting the helmets off, and that is good to see. Let's look at it in slow motion. Stop action, there it is, fully submerged. That certainly does do something to your nervous system. But fortunately, the boat came up, and they are okay. That certainly was quite a jolt, but we do hear that Dennis and Robert Bradley, we're pleased to report, are okay. The Wildcat race team certainly having a wild ride today.
Now we come up on C18, the Double Force race team. This is a 1984 24-foot Douglas skater powered by twin 2.4 Mercury EFI engines capable of 260 horsepower apiece. This boat is owned by Robert Baker of Marysville, Michigan. Driving today, we've got Tim Baker from Port Huron, Michigan, and on throttles and navigating, it's Jim Baker, also from Port Huron, Michigan. So I'd like to extend a very special thanks to Don Schweb and his crew at Lake X for rigging and outfitting the Double Force race boat. Their sponsors include Valley Plaza Inn of Midland, Michigan, Valvoline Oil Products, and Durrell Fuel Conditioners of Saginaw, Michigan. Some of their local sponsors include Hammers Welding, Dave Schneider and his Mac Tool, Zebra Bar, Peter Rose Restaurant, and Service Master Janitorial Services. And I would also like to extend a very special thanks to Press Express for bringing the race boat down to Florida so that the Double Force race team can enjoy a very successful week of racing. And right now they seem to be doing a fine job. The attitude of the boat is quite nice. They seem very comfortable in the cockpit right now, and we certainly wish the Bakers of the Double Force race team All the best here today. From Key West, Florida, it's C-18, Double Force.
Now we come up on C-82, the mixed emotion race team. There's a 25-foot motion powered by two 260 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. And as you can see, they are experiencing some difficulties with that damaged engine hatch cover. They have it secured down. Hopefully it will not result in any further damage to the boat or themselves. This boat is owned by Peter Shaw of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Peter Shaw is also doing the throttling. And driving today, we've got Ed Thornton, also from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Pete and Ed want to give special thanks to their sponsors: Gold Coast Marine, Jumpin' Jack's Bar and Grill, Watercraft Speed, Marine Mag, and Edit Marine for helping the mixed emotion race team get to the races and keeping them out front throughout 1990. They are currently looking for sponsors for the 1991 season, so anyone who wants to get some good exposure and get on board with a champion, please contact Pete Shaw or Ed Thornton of the mixed emotion race team. But right now the story is doing well right here today. They want to have a decent finish to be in a good position for Saturday's finale. And right there you get a good close-up look of Peter Shaw and Ed Thornton of the mixed emotion race team as they charge on in the middle of the pack in Offshore Sea in Key West. The mixed emotion race team. There you see a good close-up of those Mercury outboard motors and the engine hatch as it is secured down. Good bit of ingenuity by the mixed emotion race team to maintain that hatch and keep going. Now we're going to go to our second helicopter and bring you the start of Offshore B. Phil Adamo is our cameraman aboard this chopper number 2, and we're very excited about bringing you the boat, the B start. So as we go with the B start, you've got Fever right now in the lead. Rare Breed is in the middle of your picture, and Network Express is on the outside of him. So as I see it there, that yellow Manta is Fever Race Team. Then comes Rare Breed and Network Express is there. Let's highlight B6, the Fever Race Team. It's a 28-foot Manta powered by two 550 horsepower Zool inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned and driven by Joe Segro of Brooklyn, New York. Joe Latona is on throttles from Merrick, New York, and Al Hoffman from Eastport, New York, and B-52 fame is your navigator. What more can we say? For years, Fever Race Team has just dominated Offshore B Division. And 1990 has been no different. They had an excellent campaign. They were the champions, just a model of consistency. And the combination of the Zool motors with the ingenuity of Joe Segro and Joe Latona have really put together back-to-back championships and excellent campaigns for the Fever Race Team. And 1991, I'm sure will be no different than the past couple of years that have been so good to the Fever Race Team. They're true champions, and they really want to put on a great show in these 2 days of racing here in Key West, Florida. It's Joe Segro, Joe Latona, and Al Hoffman in the Fever Race Team. They're certainly going to be the odds-on favorite in Offshore B, but you can't count out Rare Breed, Lady L, Creative Native, or even Crack Conch. But Fever is certainly the boat to be reckoned with. Earlier on today, Jim Kimes had a chance to speak with the Fever Race Team about their success.
Fever Race Team, Joe, and Al, I tell you, you guys are tough competitors in rough water, and it looks like you got your water today. How do you feel, Joe?
Well, I'm glad we have rough water to slow down some of the cats, so maybe we could try for a first overall or something against some of them small skaters. And the boat will run in the calm as well as the rough, but it will do better in the rough, I would feel.
Well, hey, good luck today, guys. I think you're going to have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, as you can see, we've got the water that Joe Latona was talking about, and they're certainly doing a great job right now through this rough water. They're doing in speeds of excess of 73 miles per hour. They're dominating the class right now, and they're going to be tough to catch. Fever Race Team has been a great friend of Freeze Frame Video, and we've enjoyed our association with them for so many years, and we look forward to so many more years together with the Fever Race Team. Joe Segro, Joe Latona, and Al Hoffman, the Fever Race Team. There you see them going past Harrah's 777. That's a sea boat, different classes, but it just shows you how strong Fever runs. And here they are going by the Heat is On Race Team. Fever Race Team, what a day they're having. Network Express. This 33-fountain race hull is powered by two 525-horsepower Baker inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Mark Franz of Great Falls, Virginia, who is your driver. Art Lilly from Millersville, Maryland is on throttles, and Alan Borum from Edgewater, Maryland is your navigator. Mark Franz and his crew of the Network Express have had a phenomenal year on the 1990 APBA offshore racing circuit. Throughout the season, they have been the driving force behind the Have a Heart Homes, formerly Child Help USA, awareness and fundraising efforts. Network Express, racing in their first season, captured the coveted Great Lakes Triple Crown Trophy with 3 consecutive first-place finishes. This award is presented to the team that accumulates the highest number of points during the 3-race series, regardless of the division. The 3 races Network Express took the checkered flag were Buick Offshore Bay City, Saugatuck Douglas Challenge Saugatuck, and the Bridge Harbor Championship. Network Express also won the OPBRA Gold Cup Championship, a season-long 4-race series compiling more total boats than any of the competitors. Network Express wrapped up over 400 points at these events. North-South Challenge, Virginia Beach, Hooters 150 in Miami, Florida, Governor's Cup Challenge, St. Petersburg, Florida, and Amarada Budweiser 100, where they compiled the 400 points needed to take it. The latter 2 races were part of the Florida Governor's Cup Series, a 2-race event sponsored by the OPBRA, in which Network Express placed 3rd in the overall standings. In addition to the racing circuit, Network Express twice attempted to break the Assault on the Great Lakes record, a 605-mile APBA sanctioned run from Chicago to Detroit. The Assault was designed by Franz to be a fundraising benefit for Have a Heart. Franz embarked on a nationwide campaign to raise money to help build a village on the East Coast to house severely abused children, and managed to successfully raise over $500,000 in pledges for the village. Earlier today, Jim Kynes had a chance to speak with Mark Franz of the Network Express race team.
We're here with Mark Franz from Network Express. Mark, this is the first race of the Divisional National Championship. You're running B class in that big fountain. How do you feel you're going to fare today?
Well, we should fare fairly well if the equipment holds up. We've done a lot of work to the boat. We've prepared all year for this, so you know, anything can happen in racing, but we're definitely ready to go out and give it a heck.
Well, good luck today, Mark.
Thanks, Jim.
Mark Franz's Network Express was the 1990 Rookie of the Year, and Freeze Frame Video is proud to be associated with them as we were at the Assault on the Great Lakes, and they can count on us being there for their next attempt, headed up by Mark Franz and the Network Express race team. Certainly a great competitor, and we've enjoyed covering him throughout the 1990 campaign, and we look forward to whatever Mark Franz has in store for 1991. Mark Franz's Network Express. As we look back on the fleet, rounding the checkpoint. Now we come up on Hawk Marine Power B51. This is a 31-foot PND classic race hull powered by 2 500-horsepower Hawk inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by PND Powerboats of Miami, Florida. Driving today is Amato Larazaletta from Miami, Florida. Frank Larazaletta from Miami is on throttles, and Tony Fernandez from Miami is your navigator. The Hawk Marine Power race team. They're running in a pack of boats that includes Jaws, Team Scarab, Team Strike, Aquatron, OPA, Headhunter, Hot Ticket, Team Black Thunder, just to name a few. And that's Hawk Marine Power going by the Waste Chaser race team. This morning, Jim Kynes had a chance to talk with Tony Fernandez about the Hawk Marine Power race team.
Jim Kynes here with Tony Fernandez and George Hernandez from the Hawk Marine Power race team. Tony, you're Mandy's brother, and you're not really running against him. You're in a different class today.
Yeah, I'll be running in the Sportsman's B class, and unfortunately for Mandy, this is not going to be his kind of water. This Thursday morning is kind of bumpy, and he's going to have a hard time. And I'm kind of thrilled for it because I'm going to be going out in a deep V today, so I won't be taking the beating. He will be in that cat.
Well, good luck today, Tony, and we'll talk to you after the race.
Thank you, Jim.
Hawk Marine Power doing very well as they're trying to take on some of the other boats in the pack in their division. Tony Fernandez doing an outstanding job and also a good friend of Freeze Frame Video. Tony Fernandez is Mandy Fernandez's brother from Team Florida Collection, so he certainly brings a lot of experience and good competitive spirit to Hawk Marine Power. Looks like a bad break for Hawk Marine Power, where they were down on power and certainly slowing down. Now we come up on B-72, Team Black Thunder. This is a 32-foot Black Thunder racing boat. This boat is powered by two 500 horsepower GM inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Ronald J. Reith of Avon Lake, Ohio, who is your throttle man. Driving today, you've got Kevin Francisco from Sandusky, Ohio, and Susan Reith from Avon Lake, Ohio, is your navigator. That's MRD on the outside, locked in a battle right now with Team Black Thunder. So you've got Team Black Thunder on the inside and MRD on the outside as they round the checkpoint. Team Black Thunder was rigged by Powerboat Marine Products of Westlake, Ohio. These twin 466 cubic inch Chevrolet blocks are built by Gary Griffith of Griff's Engine Company in Sandusky, Ohio. Motors produce about 500 horsepower each. And there is Joe Skro and Joe Latona and Al Hoffman in the Fever Race Team blistering around this race course as you just saw them go by. They're presently running first place overall, and they're going to be a tough boat to catch. They're really doing well, but right now let's stay with Team Black Thunder. Team Black Thunder finished second in Offshore B in the Central Division for the 1990 season. A new set of drives will be put on this off-season, and Black Thunder's reliability should match its speed. The hull excelled in rough water conditions, so they're doing very well right now in these rough water seas. They would like to thank the following for their support in 1990. Black Thunder Powerboats, Griff's Engine Companies, who's the engine builders, Powerboat Marine for an outstanding job of rigging, High-Tech Boat Repair for their hull blueprinting, Lesh Canvas Company for the canvas, and Monroeville Marine for the maintenance. In 1991, Team Black Thunder is working with several sponsors for next season, which will allow all prize money to be donated to selected charities. So we certainly wish them all the best here in Key West, as well as for the 1991 campaign. From Ohio, it's Team Black Thunder. That's MRD still on the outside, dueling with Team Black Thunder. MRD is an A boat, where Team Black Thunder is a B boat, but nonetheless it certainly does make for good racing when you have boats side by side. Earlier today, Jim Kimes had a chance to speak with the crew of Team Black Thunder.
Black Thunder race team, Ron and Sue Reith. Sue navigates. Ron, you're the throttleman. How do you feel you're going to do today in Thursday's race?
Jim, we're looking forward to the race. I think it'll all depend on the weather conditions. It's been flat, and if it's a flat water race, we're not very competitive. If it kicks up, we're a heavy boat, and we should be competitive. We hope to place in the top 5.
Thanks. It might be your water today. It looks like it is roughing up.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Now we come up on B1, Lady L, a former national champion in B division. This 28-foot signature is powered by two 600-horsepower Chevy inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Peter Meyer of Port Washington, New York, who also does the throttling. Thomas Lampus from East Northport, New York is your driver, and Guy LaMotta from Syosset, New York is your navigator. Peter Meyer would like to extend a very special thanks to Manhasset Bay Marina for all the help that they've given the Lady L race team. And right now, Lady L is having a good run. Well, running in speeds close to 70 miles per hour. They are trying to keep with Fever and Rare Breed. There is a large gap between the lead group of boats, which is made up of Fever, Rare Breed, and Lady L, as they hold off Creative Native, Crack Conch, Dawn Mantle, Little Scarab, Team Black Thunder, who we just saw. So we certainly wish Peter Meyer and the rest of the Lady L crew all the best here today in Key West, because they've been around for many, many years, and they've provided us with some great thrills. Peter Meyer and Guy LaMotta in the Lady L race team. That's Lady L passing Hot Ticket. Meyer doing an outstanding job on the throttles. The Lady L race team having a good run. There's Lady L going by Tough Enough, and on the outside, that's Harris C777, who has broken down. Tough break for Harris, but Tough Enough is still running very strong in Offshore C. You get an idea of some of the rough racing conditions that we're experiencing here this morning. Now we come upon B88, the Rare Breed race team. This red 32-foot Tempest is powered by two 560-horsepower Chevy inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned and driven by Bill Gifford from Egg Harbor, New Jersey. On throttles, you've got Scott Langbian from Mountainside, New Jersey, and Jerry Falavine from Abscon, New Jersey is your navigator. The Rare Breed race team. And they're in the hunt with Fever and Lady L. So you've got a battle going with Rare Breed and Lady L, who we just saw, and both boats are trying to track down Fever. The Rare Breed race team having a good day here so far in Key West, Florida. Bill Gifford's Rare Breed. Now we come up on B95, the APBA race team. This is a 28-foot Pantera powered by two 420-horsepower Merc Cruiser inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by William D. Granis from Lake Orion, Michigan. William does the throttles. Driving today, he's got Thomas Havey from Mount Clemens, Michigan, and your navigator is Sam J. Pallets from Royal Oak, Michigan. the APBA race team. And they're running in that middle pack of boats with Hot Ticket, Headhunter, Aquatron, just to name a few, in the middle pack of boats in Offshore B. They definitely have a lot of ground to make up between themselves and the leaders, but however, with so many boats in there, you never know. A lot of boats have already dropped out of the race. Low Bid, IROC, Network Express we hear might be having some problems, Wild Thing, so this field could open up with a high rate of attrition. They've had 4 years in A class, and this is their first year in Divisional B class. So we certainly wish them all the best as they move into B class, and if they can get a good finish here today, coupled with a strong performance on Saturday, anything is possible. But right now, APBA's experiencing some rough water conditions, but they seem to have things under control once again, and we certainly wish them all the best. From Key West, Florida, it's William D. Granis' APBA race team. This certainly looks like a problem out here. B40, it's the Headhunter race team, and we've got a fire raging on that boat, and the fuel has spilled into the water, as you see, and even that is on fire. It's a 26-foot Corsa, and it is in trouble right now. From what we see or what we hear, both driver and throttle man have jumped to safety. Everyone is okay. The crew of Peter J. Lloyd, Charlie Hames, and Mike Radler, which makes up the crew of Headhunter, is in safe conditions. They've jumped to safety, and this is definitely an unfortunate sight to see on a race course. But we do hear that everyone is okay, so that is certainly a relief. Tough break for the Headhunter race team here in Key West, Florida. Certainly a very nasty sight to see this boat fully engulfed in those flames. And there you see the trail of smoke, safety boats and helicopters on the scene. Fortunately, everyone is okay. Now we come up to A26, Protector boats. This is a 25-foot Protector racing hull powered by a single 500 horsepower Chevy inboard motor with a MerCruiser outdrive. This boat is owned and driven by Frank Pace from Topeka, Kansas. Kurt Richter from Topeka is your throttle man, and Robert Spencer from Bay City, Michigan is your navigator. Pace, Richter, and Spencer making up the Protector boat race team. And they're running in a pack of boats that consist of Second to None, Wave Hippie, Empty Pockets, Deuces Are Wild, and Royal Racing. So Offshore A is well underway, And we've got some good boats running here also. This is definitely going to be a good class of racing also. Some boats have already dropped out. Runaway, MRD, Ken's Oil, Independence, Fully Involved, Scot-Free Racing. But many boats are still out there, and in the top of the pack, it's going to go right down to the wire with some of the lead boats in Offshore A. But Protector Boats is running in the lead pack of boats in Offshore A. The Protector Boats is out of Topeka, Kansas, and they are available in a race version as you see here or a pleasure boat setup. Protector Boats, and they're having a fine run here today in Key West, Florida, and we wish them all the best for today and in Saturday's grand finale. Now we come up on A12, the hard-charging MRD. This is a 30-foot superboat powered by two 400-horsepower MRD inboard racing motors with Mercruiser outdrives. This boat is owned and throttled by Robert Cardinale of West Islip, New York. Aldo Alazik from Lindenhurst, New York is your driver, and Frank Schweizer from Bohemia, New York is your navigator. MRD, they're the 1990 defending Northeast Divisional Champion, and this MRD Superboat race hull is built in Amityville, New York. Superboats, a great racing hull as well as a pleasure hull. The MRD race team. Now we come up on Mr. Zip. This is a 28-foot Arrow powered by two 400-horsepower H&E inboard motors with Mercruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by J. Wayne Walker of Tappahannock, Virginia. David Walker from Tappahannock is your driver, J. Wayne Walker is your throttle man, and Jeff Curry from Mannequin, Virginia is your navigator. Mr. Zip is sponsored by Zip Corvette Center in Mechanicsville, Virginia. Zip Corvette is a mail-order business providing Corvette parts and accessories worldwide to auto enthusiasts who are active in restoration of older Corvettes, specializing from 1956 to 1982. During the winter of 1989 through 1990, the 1987 Arrow was purchased and repowered and re-rigged for Offshore A class. 9 races have been started during 1990, with wins at Key West in April, Cape Coral in May, Virginia Beach also in May, New Smyrna Beach August, and St. Petersburg Beach, Florida in October. The Mr. Zip race team won first place in every race that they finished in 1990. So that certainly is quite an accomplishment for Mr. Zip. At the present time, Mr. Zip and MRD are running in the lead pack of boats in A division. So we'll have to see how this one shakes out, but right now Mr. Zip is really having a great run, and they could continue that streak of victories that they have throughout 1990. A41, the Mr. Zip race team. Fever is still having a good run in Offshore B. Heat is on. Tough Enough, Gotcha, and Offshore C are going at it. And right here, it's a tough race. And going by Mr. Zip, it's A96, the Runaway race team. This is a 28-foot Runaway powered by two 260 horsepower Mercury motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Martin Baldwin from Fork River, New Jersey, who is on throttles. Charles Burke from Brick, New Jersey is driving, and David Fox from Cedar Run, New Jersey is your navigator. The Runaway race team, and they're having a very good run right now. Martin Baldwin doing an outstanding job on the throttles as you hear him power these Mercury motors, doing a wonderful job, and they're having a very strong run. They look very comfortable, as you see. The Runaway race team. And that's Runaway passing Hot Ticket. And there on the outside, once again, it's Fever Race Team. First place overall, just blistering up this race course. Joe Latona, Joe Scrow, Al Hoffman, what more can we say? This, I believe, is the second or third time we've seen them go around, and they're just having a phenomenal run here today in Key West. The Fever Race Team. Now we come up on A2. The Deuces Are Wild, and they are also having a good run. This is a 1989 28-foot Webcraft with big block Snyder Racing engines. This boat is owned by Joe Bonaducci Sr. On throttles, we've got Al Bonaducci, driver is Joey Bonaducci, your navigator is Michael Fasano, and your co-navigator is Bill Stable. They'd like to give a very special thanks to Active Disposal Service, Raritan Tire, Atreon Corporation, and Rogers Speed Shop. And they'd also like to give a special thanks to their terrific crew, which is made up of Louie, Keith, Wayne, Chucky, Joe, John, and Dave. The Deuces Are Wild race team. They're running in the lead pack of boats, and they are having a good run. So this should put them in a good position for today's first leg of the race. And with a good finish on Saturday, Deuces Are Wild certainly could be a boat to be reckoned with in the Offshore A Division in Key West. Joe Bonaducci's Deuces Are Wild race team. Al Bonaducci is doing an outstanding job of throttling Deuces Are Wild. Now we come up on A30, Panther's Pleasure. There's a 24-foot switcher powered by a single 600 horsepower Mercury inboard motor with a Mercruiser outdrive. This boat is owned and driven by Neil Bache of Rochester, New York, and George Skip Dolan of Ontario, New York is your throttle man. That's Panther Pleasure going by Phantom, who you just saw. Panther Pleasure relatively having a pretty good run here so far. A lot of boats in the A Division, so anything can happen with so many boats dropping out of the race in these rough water conditions. But Neil Bache and George Skip Dolan are doing a fine job in Panther Pleasure, and we certainly wish them all the best here in Key West. It's A30, Neil Bache's Panther Pleasure. That's Mr. Zip going by Panther Pleasure on the inside. Mr. Zip really having a good race today. And that's Wave Hippie following in the wake of Mr. Zip as they go by Panther's Pleasure. And on the outside, that's Runaway going by Panther Pleasure. So there's just a streak of boats going by Panther Pleasure there. They're going to have to pick it up a little as they see the pace that they must maintain. However, Panther Pleasure rising to the occasion, and they're trying to catch up to some of the boats that have just passed them. And that's Team Black Thunder going by the inside of Panther Pleasure. Now we come up to A1, second to none. This is a 30-foot checkmate powered by two 400-horsepower Mercury inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Mark Tangus of Holmdel, New Jersey. Mark is doing the throttling, and Tom Sugar from Wantagh, New York is your driver. So Tangus and Sugar making up the second to none race team, A1. They had a very good 1990 campaign, and they're really coming out here doing a good job. They're in that lead pack of boats in Offshore A. They're looking very strong right now, and they could figure in some of the top finishes here in A Division, which will really be beneficial to them, obviously, for Saturday's grand finale. But right now, we're staying with Mark Tangus and Tom Sugar in the second to none race team from Key West, Florida, and we wish them all the best. A1, second to none. Second to none has Tomahawk Interiors, which is Tom Sugar's company, and they can do anything for race boats as well as pleasure boats. Tomahawk Interiors, headed up by Tom Sugar. But second to none is having a very good race, and we certainly wish them the best as the race is starting to draw to a close. Now we come up on A91, the Royal Racing race team. This is a 24-foot Sensation powered by a single 600 horsepower Mercury inboard motor with a Merc Cruiser outdrive. This boat is owned by Anthony Currier of Port Huron, Michigan. Driving today is Todd Wedge from Point Huron, Michigan, and Anthony Currier is doing the throttling. So Currier and Wedge making up the Royal Racing race team. Anthony Currier has been involved in offshore for 2.5 years. Todd Wedge is a rookie, and he's the part owner of Wedge Printing. Crew Chief Greg Williams has been involved in offshore racing for 8 years. The engines are built by Ken Whissen of Point Huron, Michigan, who's been involved in offshore racing for 14 years. Owner and principal Jerry Lynn Currier. Crew support Brett Currier, who is Tony's 7-year-old son, and they'd like to extend a very special thanks. Ken Whissen's 468 cubic inch big block Chevy can develop 600 horsepower and produce speeds in the 80s. This black and yellow modified is rigged by Anthony Kerr and Ken Whissen for any and all race conditions, and has proven that in the divisional national circuit. Royal Racing will be the team to watch for in the A class in the 1991 season. Royal Racing would like to extend very special thanks to all their sponsors for a winning season. Dan Davis from Royal Roofing Company, Detroit, Michigan. Autometer and freeze frame videos. Crockett Racing, Custom Dash and Gauge, Willys Interiors, and Cycle Marineland, all from Port Huron, Michigan. Thorpe Painting and Studio 626, and Samcar Welding and Pro Marine, all from Marysville, Michigan. C&E Racing Heads from Detroit, Michigan, and Pancho's Restaurant, RJ's Lounge, and Creative Expressions. So all this goes together to help out the Royal Racing to have a very successful 1990 campaign. And as we said earlier on, they're certainly going to be the team to watch for 1991 in the A Division on the national circuit of the APBA, and look for them in the Midwest and all regional races in the Michigan area. Anthony Currier's Royal Racing Race Team. That's second to none right there. So Royal Racing passing second to none. That's second to none right in the picture as they round the checkpoint. And on the outside, that's Wave Hippie. That's second to none on the inside, and Royal Racing on the outside. Great bit of racing right here toward the closing stages of today's race. Now we come up on A52, Spoiled Banana. This is a 24-foot banana boat powered by a single 300 horsepower Johnson outboard motor. This boat is owned and throttled by James E. Brown of North Falmouth, Massachusetts, and Carol Brown is your navigator. James Brown does the driving and navigating. Carol Brown does the navigation. This is a mother-son team, so this is certainly very interesting. A racing family, and it's nice to see the mother and son come out here and race in Spoiled Banana. And we certainly wish them all the best, and they're having a very good run in Offshore A. We look forward to seeing the Spoiled Banana race team in 1991 because they have had a few nice races here in 1990. James Brown and Carol Brown making up the Spoiled Banana race team. Now we come up on the hard-charging A17 Wave Hippie. This is a 28-foot Sabre Offshore powered by two 390 horsepower Chevrolet inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by San Kin Enterprises of Spring Lake, Michigan. Driving today is Lance Sunvelt of Grand Haven, Michigan. Matt R. Kinky of Spring Lake, Michigan is on throttles, and Scott Hoskins from Grand Haven, Michigan is your navigator. The Wave Hippie race team having a very good run right now in A Division, running basically toward the upper portion of the pack. They are in one of the lead packs here, so they could finish in good top 10 finish here out of so many boats. So that could position Wave Hippie for a nice run for Saturday's finale. So we're going to stay with Wave Hippie. Some of the classes have already finished. We're going to take Wave Hippie to the start-finish line, and in just moments we'll be bringing you Jim Kimes interviewing some of the winners in the pits and bringing you the final results of the first leg of the APBA UIM 1990 International Cup divisional races.
APBA race team, boy, you guys done it today. Joe, how do you feel about the race? It was your water, right?
Oh, it was fantastic. We got up around the 85-mile-an-hour range, and we just stayed there through the whole race. My throttle man Joe wouldn't back off for nothing. Once we came out, we were first overall after the second lap, and we just never looked back after that. We just kept it going, and that's
well, congratulations, JoJo. Al?
We were romping and stomping.
Well, congratulations, guys. Number one today. Put you in a good position for Saturday.
Thank you.
Well, that 32-foot man of the day, John, done the job.
Yeah, the water out there, conditions was just right for us. We really had to work hard, though, and we pulled it off and took a first place. It's Key West.
Well, good luck on Saturday. I know right now you're number one in C class.
Yeah, we're in pretty good shape here with this win. We finish up in a good position on Saturday. It could make us be the world champion, and that's what we're here for.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
We're here with Dennis and Rob Bradley after the race here on Thursday, and I hear you had some bad luck out there, fellas.
Yeah, in the Canadian fleet at home, I think we have 5 submarines. We made the 6th one today. We went underwater big time.
Does that mean you're out of the race for Saturday, or will you be racing?
We'll be racing. Everything's back together, running again.
Terrific. Well, good luck on Saturday.
Well, thank you.
Well, here are your final